Good morning and welcome to the July 17, 2023 meeting of the New York City Campaign Finance Board. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 2nd, 2023 meeting. I move the approval of those minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the report of the chair. So today the Campaign Finance Board will be voting on a round of public fund payments for the upcoming 2023 general elections, enforcement matters from a 2019 special election and a 2019 general election, and 6 2023 candidate petitions pursuant to our Rule 7-09. As we are now 3 weeks removed from the June primary, as we are now 3 weeks removed from the June primaries, preparations for the general election are already underway. Voter turnout is still lower than we want it to be. However, candidates still relied heavily on our program this year. The board approved over $7.6 million in matching funds. In addition to these disbursements, we had 22 first-time program participants that were paid in this year's primary cycle. These numbers paint a clear picture that our program is giving everyday New Yorkers the chance to run for public office and represent their communities. Today's meeting payment will be the first of 5 public funds payments to be issued for the 2023 general elections. This has been a challenging year, and I am grateful to CFB leadership and staff for their perseverance through these first 7 months. A lot of work goes into making these disbursements possible, and without their dedication and sacrifices, we would not be able to approve of these payments today. On behalf of the entire board, I'd like to say thank you to our leadership and staff. The next item on our agenda is a vote to ratify certain determinations made by the chair with regard to the June 23rd public funds payments. These were Rule 709 petitions by candidates challenging the denial of certain payments. And we have 6 of them, and for 2 of them, the issues are a little bit complicated. So we're going to take them one at a time.
Actually, first we should vote on the regular.
Yes, I see. I've got this out of order. I'm sorry. Let me back up. The next item on our agenda is in addition to having ruled on 6 Rule 709 petitions, the chair also made the public funds determinations for the June 23rd payments because we did not schedule the meeting at that time. The board has the power to make those determinations subject to ratification by the full board. And so I'll now ask someone other than me to make a motion to ratify the board's chair's payment determinations with us on June 23rd.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Next on the agenda is a vote on the public funds payments for today, July 17. And I'm going to ask our interim executive director, Amy Loprest, to lay out what the details on those public funds payments.
Okay. First, we have in Council District 1, Christopher Marte, $43,700. Helen Q, $59,698. Sorry. In District 3, Eric Boucher, $43,700. Keith, in District 4, Keith Powers, $43,700. In District, 11, Eric Dinowitz, $43,700. In District 14, Pirina Sanchez, $7,950. In District 18, Amanda Farias, $40,565. In District 20, Sandra Ung, $174,800. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped somebody. In District 19, Tony Avella, $190. In District 22, Tiffany Caban, $43,700. In District 23, Bernard Chow, $3,306. Also in District 23, Linda Lee, $58,809. In District 24, James Gennaro, $174,087. In District 25, Shakar Krishnan, $35,355. In District 26, Marvin Jeffcoat, $43,700. Also in District 26, Julie Wan, $43,700. In District 29, Lynn Schulman, $41,602. In District 37, Sandy Nurse, $43,700. In District 38, Alexa Diaz, $43,700. In District 39, Shahana Hanif, $43,700. In District 43, Ying Tang, $1,353. Also in District 43, Susan Zhang, $33,736. In District 44, Kalman Yeager, $27,003. In District 46, Mercedes Narcisse, $43,367. In District 47, Ari Kagan, $2,531. In District 48, Ina Vernikov, $8,360. For total public funds payments of $1,149,712.
I move the approval of those public funds payments. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the announcement of campaigns in compliance. The following candidates have completed the post-election audit process without any violations and penalties assessed by the Campaign Finance Board. The board recognizes the diligence of the candidates and their campaign staff in running campaigns that maintain compliance with New York City's campaign finance law. Of these campaigns, both of them are first-time candidates with the CFB. These are both from the 2021 election cycle. The first candidate, Stephen Patzer, was a candidate for City Council District number 47. And the second candidate was Sandra Ung, City Council District 20. The next item on our agenda involves a candidate appearance with respect to two candidates against whom the board has proposed penalties. One candidate is not appearing, the other candidate is. And so at this time, we'll ask for Helal Sheikh to appear.
Can you note my recusal?
Yes, for this matter, board member Dawn Smalls, who was also a candidate for public advocate in that election, will be recusing herself and not participating.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
They're trying to elevate him now.
There- Mr. Scheck, are you there? Can you turn on your camera? Or if,
Or at least unmute.
yes. Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay.
You're muted.
Okay, you're still muted, but you want to unmute?
It's unmuted. I think your volume is just down. I just think you need to
Well, now you're
unmute
muted.
and then turn the volume up.
We can't
You are
hear you.
muted.
You are muted, I think.
Unmute or do you have to unmute?
No, we've already unmuted on our end. We can't hear you, Mr. Shea. I don't know who he's speaking to on the phone.
Is he talking to
He's
somebody?
talking to Tim Hunter.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
Sounds good.
there. Yeah, now we hear
Yeah.
you.
Okay, all right, thanks, thank you.
Okay, great.
Okay. So the proceeding is very simple. We're going to ask our staff attorney to essentially outline what the issues are before us. Then it'll be your opportunity to speak, and if there needs to be any response, staff will respond. The board might have a few questions. And then we'll go into deliberations and come back and render our decision, okay?
Right, thanks.
Okay. Caitlin?
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Toto, Senior Associate Counsel for the CFB. Appearing with me today remotely is Landra Flores, Auditor with the CFB. Before the board this morning is the matter of the Halal Shake campaign in the 2019 Egg Special Election for Public Advocate. The candidate was not a participant in the program. CFB staff recommends that the board find the campaign committed 2 violations of the Act and board rules: failing to report transactions and failing to respond to the draft audit report. The first recommended violation is for the campaign's failure to report transactions. Campaigns are required to report all financial transactions and disclosure statements filed in accordance with the schedule set by the board. The campaign failed to report expenditures totaling $5,074.05 that appeared on its bank statements. The campaign contests this violation. The second recommended violation is for the campaign's failure to respond to the draft audit report. Both participating and non-participating candidates are required to maintain records to verify financial transactions reported in disclosure statements and are required to provide such records to the board upon request. The campaign received its draft audit report on January 24th, 2020, with a response deadline of February 24th, 2020. The campaign did not submit a response, and the campaign contests this violation.
Okay, Mr. Sheikh, the floor is yours.
Yes, well, I disagree with this. I believe I did it. I asked with some of the representative for the campaign finance, and they said since you are a non-participant, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything, and that was my understanding. And then And also, I think it was before some meeting was I responded over there as well. So I'm going to stay with the same what I mentioned that time, because I didn't receive. I was asking them when I asked them, somebody from the campaign finance, they says, you as a non-participant, you are not getting any funds, so you don't have to go. After whatever I did it on that time, it was done. Then he said you don't need anything to do it anymore. And then also their system, some reason I wasn't able to find anything, and then later on I hear it, I have to do something, but I think everything on the record, you can see it from there.
Did you ever get a copy of the draft audit report at any point?
I wasn't able to open it because some reason their system, I mean, I wasn't able to open. It was some, I mean, I don't know what happened on the system. The time was a deadline or something. And then I noticed, then after that, even though when I called the campaign finance, they wasn't able to find it, my record somehow. I don't know, system, some reason wasn't working. And then they told me, yes, you were a non-participant with the matching fund, so you don't need to respond anything. So I was expecting I'm done.
Who told you that?
I don't
Who
really,
told you that you didn't need to respond?
whoever was my representative or whatever the number was to call, and I called that thing, and that's how I noticed there. But I think when I was reading this morning and I think that was there also. I mean, what I did last time I had some other hearing was there, and I mentioned there. I think that was mentioned there as well.
I don't see any documentary evidence of anybody having told you that you didn't have to respond. The record does contain a number of communications telling you that you do need to respond.
But I did respond though. I was asking for the extension as well.
If I may, I think Mr. Sheikh may also be possibly conflating the enforcement notice with the draft audit report, because he did respond to the enforcement notice, which comes after the draft audit report, but the underlying violation is for the failure to respond to the draft audit report, which we did not, at no point we received.
Is there any evidence that he received and opened the draft audit report at any point?
We do have, yes, on camp, it does show him opening the draft audit report on November 12th, 2020.
Could you hear that response, Mr. Sheikh?
What did it say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it clearly.
That our records indicate that your campaign received and opened the draft audit report on what date?
November 12th, 2020.
November 12th, 2020.
But that time wasn't the deadline. I wasn't. I mean, it was that time was the time was passed, which is whatever time I supposed to responded. It was that time or it was after.
The question is that any time, did you forget about before that you're required to make your initial response, at any time did you open or your campaign open the draft audit report? Yes or no?
Yes, I was able to do it, but then some time also wasn't able to do it anything. The time I was looking, and then I called them, and that time I think the campaign people also, someone who was on the phone, and they wasn't able to find it, my record or something like that. I don't know what happened. Then they informed me, my understanding, if I'm not making a mistake, they told me you were not participating, you didn't receive any matching funds, so you don't have to do anything. That was my understanding, if I'm not making a mistake.
There's a record that says on November 18th, 2020, and then a second time on November 30th, 2020, you or your campaign requested a 6-month extension. Do you recall doing that?
Yes, I do. I remember I was asking something. Yes, yeah, because at that time I think is my brother. I mean I don't know. That is the time we have in my family someone who was in the COVID for 3 months for the ventilator. So, I mean, I think, I don't know, I'm assuming for that is the time. It is that time or no?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just pointing out that it seemed that you did ask for time to respond, that's all.
And that leads to the question, if you ask for more time to respond, then presumably at that time you knew you had an obligation to respond. So I don't understand how you can say you were relying on advice that you didn't have to respond when you actually filed a request for an extension of time to respond.
I mean, when I did it before, then I think before that, just like the time I asked them, that time I think I spoke with them, but before that I asked someone and they told me I don't have to do it. And then after that, I think I was receiving something and then I called them again. And that's how I noticed I have to, the other person, not the one, the next individual, whoever they pick up the phone and who I go and they say, no, you have to do it. And that's how I think I was trying to communicate with them as well. That is
But
my
you
understanding.
didn't respond after you got the extension.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it. You says I didn't respond. What you
After
say?
you got the extension,
You got 1 month, or whatever it was. After you applied for the extension, you did not respond even at that point. Correct?
And I don't remember. But my understanding, I did everything, whatever I supposed to do, and I did everything. My understanding.
is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay, Caitlin, anything further?
No, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go into deliberations now and we'll resume the meeting shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Welcome back. So the board has deliberated with respect to the two candidates against whom it proposes to impose penalties, including the one who appeared before us today. And I'm going to offer the following proposal for the board to vote on. With respect to candidate Hillel Shah, 2019 special election candidate for public advocate, the board proposes to find the following violations and to impose the following penalties. 1, failing to report transactions, $101. 2, failing to respond to the draft audit report, $500, for total penalties of $601. The second candidate is Joseph Borelli, also candidate for public advocate. And the board proposes to find the following violations and impose the following penalties. 1, failing to disclose a merchant account, $100. 2, failing to provide bank and merchant account statements, $650. 3, accepting a contribution from an unregistered political committee, $275, for total penalties of $1,025. I move that the board approve those findings and recommended penalties. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. The board will reflect again that trustee Dawn Smalls recused herself with respect to the first of those candidates, Hillel Sheikh. The next and final substantive item on our agenda today concerns determinations that the board previously made with respect to 6 Rule 709 petitions. I'm going to go through these individually because there's a little bit of complication involved. So the first of these petitions was by candidate Fatima Baryab, and the chair denied that petition. And if another member of the board would
So
like to
moved.
move to ratify that decision, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. The next candidate was Charles Castro. The substance of that petition concerned a non-payment due to the candidate's late compliance with the filing requirements of the Conflicts of Interest Board. There's one other Rule 709 petition that involves the same issue, that of paperboard prints. With respect to those 2 petitions, the board wishes to reflect further on whether whether the board's determination, my determination, in denying those petitions was correct. And indeed, I have some second thoughts as well about that. And so we are going to deliberate, or we're going to defer decision on those 2 petitions in order to give ourselves a little more opportunity to visit this issue, which is somewhat complicated issue of law. And we will come back at our next meeting with a determination with respect to those 2 petitions.
And Mr. Chair, I just want to note that in these, this was the only reason for denial. This issue may have come up in other, at least one other case, but there were other reasons for denial in those other cases.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. So these were the 2 petitions where this was the only reason for denial. So we're going to defer action on those 2 petitions. I'll continue with the remaining petitions. Candidate Isis McIntosh Green, that petition was denied. I invite a motion to ratify that denial.
So moved.
All, second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Next petition is Guillermo Perez. That petition was granted by the chair, and I invite a motion to ratify the granting of that petition.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor? Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. And the final petition, that of Inna Vertikov, that motion was denied. Is there a motion to ratify that denial?
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, that motion carries. At this time, I'll move that we go into executive session for some discussion concerning pending litigation and other matters. And since we will not be taking any action in that executive session, that we will adjourn directly from the executive session. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, the motion carries. Thank you, we're done for today.